Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Lidarga Velazian. Coming up in today's newscast. 6 rockets were fired towards Israel overnight from the Gaza Strip. Israel responds with airstrikes against terrorist targets. Hundreds of thousands of students stuck at home as municipalities and schools shut down in protest over the new state budget. And ILTV sits down with co-founder and CEO of Space IL to hear all about Israel's next mission to the moon, Beresheet 2. We open with the tense security situation. Overnight, Gaza terrorists fired 6 rockets towards Israel that were all intercepted by the Iron Dome or fell harmlessly in open areas. The IDF responded with airstrikes on terrorist military targets in Gaza. The rocket fire was in apparent response to yesterday's clash in Nablus. 11 Palestinians were killed and many more wounded during the raid on the hideout of a wanted terrorist leader who was killed. Security forces are on alert for attacks, and in Ma'ale Adumim, a female terrorist was neutralized before being able to strike. We get more from ILTV's Steve Leibowitz.
At 4 a.m., red alert alarms sounded as 6 rockets were fired at the Israeli cities of Ashkelon, Sderot, and other areas near the Gaza Strip. The army said 5 of the projectiles were down by the Iron Dome system, and the last shell landed in an open area. There were no reports of damage or casualties. Shortly after the rocket fire from Gaza, Israeli warplanes carried out bombing raids against the Hamas terror group in the Gaza Strip. Fighter jets hit a Hamas weapons workshop in central Gaza and a military site used by the group northwest of Gaza City. Israeli gunships also reportedly attacked a site in the Al-Shati refugee camp northwest of Gaza City. There were no immediate reports of Palestinian injuries. No Palestinian group claimed responsibility for the latest rocket fire, but over the past year, the Islamic Jihad has somewhat routinely launched rockets at Israel in response to members being killed or arrested in the territories. The Palestinian attack came on the heels of a gun battle yesterday in Nablus in which 11 Palestinians were killed and over 100 injured by Israeli forces. Most of the casualties were members of terror groups, but there were also civilians caught in the crossfire. The army says that the troops entered Nablus to arrest Hussam Islam, a senior member of the Lion's Den terror group believed responsible for the killing of Staff Sergeant Ido Baruch in a shooting attack in October. Following the Nablus clash, police raised their alert level amid fears of reprisal attacks in Jerusalem or Judea and Samaria. In Washington, the State Department expressed concern over the cycle of Arab-Israeli violence.
We recognize the very real security concerns facing Israel. At the same time, we are deeply concerned by the large number of injuries and the loss of civilian lives. We had productive conversations in recent days with the parties and U.S. regional partners in support of efforts to prevent further violence. We are deeply concerned that the impact of today's raid could set back efforts aimed at restoring calm for both Israelis and Palestinians.
Meanwhile, attempted terror attacks continue. In Ma'ale Adumim, southeast of Jerusalem, a Palestinian woman attempted to stab security guards at the entrance to the city. She was shot and wounded and is now in police custody. According to police, the woman approached the guards at a checkpoint at the entrance to the largest settlement city. She was shot and wounded before being able to attack. Security forces remain on high alert in Jerusalem and the territories.
And joining us now with more on the tense security situation is veteran Israeli journalist and senior research fellow at the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs, Yoni Ben Menachem. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
So we're only in February, and already this year has seen many casualties from terror attacks, as well as dozens of Palestinian terrorists neutralized. This begs the question, are we on the brink of another intifada?
Certainly, the terrorist organizations are going in that direction. They have been planning it for a few months already, and they are escalating towards Ramadan. The peak of the violence is supposed to happen during Ramadan. And the way things look now, it's inevitable that the big clash will come on Ramadan because the Palestinians insist on having such a big clash.
Now, you mentioned a big clash. Security forces are on very high alert. What should we expect in the coming days or weeks? And are we headed towards another military operation?
We are heading, according to the Palestinians, towards a new intifada, and they have an organized plan how to do that. They planning in the beginning of Ramadan a full hunger strike, open hunger strike of all the security prisoners in the jails in Israel. We're talking about 5,000 prisoners. They are planning to declare civil disobedience in East Jerusalem, and they are planning to increase the attacks of the lone terrorists and also of the armed terrorist groups in Nablus and Jenin for a confrontation with the IDF and the settlers in the Judea and Samaria areas. All of these elements of the factors of the plans are supposed to lead to a new intifada, and this is something that they have been planning for a long time.
And now, where is the Palestinian Authority in all of this? It's very weak as it is. It's halted security cooperation with Israel. This latest raid in Nablus further deteriorating ties. How has the latest raid affected cooperation with the PA?
The cooperation with the PA is at the very minimum, very minimized, because they stopped the security coordination with Israel as a retaliation for what happened in Jenin refugee camp as a result of an army operation in the Jenin refugee camp. They are boycotting security with Israel. There are American mediation to renew the security coordination between Israel and the PA. They said that they will go with the American initiative, but now, after what happened yesterday, we are back at square one. Don't expect too much from the PA. The PA is too weak, and even if it was strong, Abu Mazen, the head of the PA, he doesn't want to confront the armed military groups. He wants to leave a legacy as somebody who did not confront his own people. So he's not going to do anything.
But how important is this security collaboration with the PA in terms of preventing terrorist attacks? How in the past, how has this been, and how will this affect the future moving forward?
There was a period of time when they used to arrest terrorists and prevent terror attacks when they had information about it, accurate information. They acted because it was important for them to keep good relations with Israel for economic reasons and other reasons. But what happened in the last 2 years, actually after May 2021, they took a decision not to prevent or not to confront the armed military groups that started to emerge in the north of the West Bank. And these groups grew slowly, and now we're talking about more than 1,000 armed terrorists in the north of the West Bank. And the PA does not want to confront them. And this is very alarming because this is a direct violation of the Oslo Accords. And also it indicates that the PA supports a big military confrontation with Israel. This is very, very alarming. Apparently, Abu Mazen wants to leave the political arena like Yasser Arafat did, and he doesn't want to to make anything that will not leave him as a hero of the Palestinians.
Yoni Ben Menachem, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.